Hello, this is Miss Zhang from Visa in Korea. Today's lecture is about F-5 visa without requiring KIIP completion. But as you know, the basic requirement for the permanent residency F-5 visa request for KIIP and Korea Immigration and Integration Program and completion 사회통합프로그램 수료. But actually, KIIP in the system has been changed from last September 1st. And actually, when you study in the stage 5 of KIIP, but previously, if you take 3 times these classes, and you may get completion certificate of KIIP automatically. But from the September 1st, the last year, so if you want to get the completion of stage 5 KIIP, you must pass 60 score at the comprehensive tests. After that, you need to take another class and need to get 40 or more than 40 points. But after that, you can repeat and take a test, and if you get a 40 point or more, you can get a stage 5 the KIIP completion. So it takes long because when you start and learning KIIP, and it shall be started from level 0, 15 hours, and after that, stage 1 to stage 4, you must take 100 hours per each course, and then you should take the 50-hour the class for stage 5 the completion. But after that, you must pass that test if you want to get the completion certificate of KIP stage 5. But some of F-5 visas, and they don't need KIIP in the stage 5 completion. And okay, start my lecture. So listen carefully and see that my the chart in PPT file, and it'll be more easy to understand. The right now is that I am introducing the basic requirement for that. So if you think that the one of the F-5 meets your current status, and please kindly and comment on me, and after that I make a new presentation to make more clear for your questions. Okay, let us start. The F-5. Okay, F-5 without acquiring KIIP completion. It is it is similar to previous my lecture about F-5 visa, but without requiring GNI income, right? But similar, but is certain F-5s are different from previous my lecture. F-5 visa investors large amount of money invest into Korea. It's a 500,000 US dollars invested Korea, and if he or she hires more than 5 and the Korean national with a full-time employment over 6 months, right? If it do meet the requirement, apply for this permanent residency, right? That is usually for the some entrepreneur, right? Some businessmen to open their own business in Korea. F-517 is a real estate investor, right? Uh, that investment amount shall be over 500 million won, 5억 won. And after that, you can change the current, like a short term, the visa to F2 visa, right? After the F2 visa acquisition, and they stay 5 years from ARC issuance date, and you can get F517 visa, right? So the F519 is related to the F517. So F519 is unmarried the children or your spouse. So when you change, you invest the 500 million won, and after that, if you got the F2 at the time, then you may apply for F2 visa, right? With your unmarried and children or your spouse to F2 at the same time. And if they have the 5 years, but actually is almost the same period required as you. So, the 5 years from F2 visa, right? And you are married and a child and spouse can apply for the F5, the 17 and F519 at the same time. There is another, the special merit, and special merit. Where's my, okay. Where's my, okay. Special merit and startup investor. F512 visa is a special merit if the foreigners and they give very good influence in international exchange of economy or society, culture, and science on foreign affairs, and or doing the social and welfare employment field with the relevant ministry's recommendation letter. It's very difficult. The first one and second one, it is not bit easy to get this, right? And 5 million won, this is one of the headquarter, right? And the other countries, the headquarter, the kind of industrial and a factory invested certain amount of money to open their the Korean branch with some factory or lab or facilities, right? And so if and the headquarters overseas and a company invested in the 5 million won to one of the Korean and area to open their branch office in Korea and dispatch one of the executives right from the headquarters to operate certain field in Korea and or just managing the Korean the branch and corporation. So if this past executives right and run the Korean branches for over 3 years and while they're staying in Korea, right? And at the time, after 3 years, and after that, the hiring and the 10 Korean citizens, right? And the one executive has chance to apply for the F512 visa, right? The maximum and executives and can be changed to the F512 is 10. It means if this and the foreign the Korean branch and the corporation hires more than 100%, 100 Koreans, right? And after that, and maximum 10 executives can change their current, usually D8 visa, right? And dispatching person from the overseas and headquarter corporation into Korean branch corporation, right? So if and that's the case, and the executives and they can be changed for F512 visa with 10 and a person is a very good chance. But I think that you read one of this contributed and a person to protect the Korean and the people's lives and the poverty and from the crime, disaster. Oh, there is that I have to erase it again and accident, right? But I read in this paper in several times, even though like undocumented and foreigners that saved several Korean lives and firing and places. So even though he is and they got a like undocumented status, but after that they to treat their that burn the skins and other things, and they change the G1 for the treatment. After that, they can be changed to F-512, right? This is one of the special merit for the foreigners contribute to the protection of the Korean people's lives and property from crime and disaster and accident. F-524, the visa, it is for the startup investor. But usually there is a D10, the 2 visa, right? This is it is not exactly job seeking visa. Job seeking visa is a D10-1 visa, but D10-2 it is just for the preparation for the startup investment. The visa is D8, the 4 the visa. Things I explained several times about DA4 visa, right? DA4 is technology and startup company, right? It's based on point, right? Points. So I posted already a bit about the DA4 and the point system. You can learn, get some on a point, although when you complete certain course of the global centers and other government or educational and institutions to get the point. So if you get additional the certain point, right, and the patent application, you may get certain point, and is usually called Oasis program, right? So if you complete one of the things, then you can get the certain points. So if you're studying at there, and you can apply for D10-2 every 6 months, and maximum as you can stay at 2 years. But basic requirement for the D10-2 is you need to get an associate degree in one of the Korean universities, or you got a bachelor's degree from overseas, or if you get some award from Invention Korea or other the government uh, and recognize the kind of award in Korea. And after that, you got D10-2 and get the tech classes get point, and you can change the D8-4 visa. Mostly it gives you 1 year, and after that you can continuously and exchange. So if you got a DA4 and 3 years passed, and if you attracting 300 million won, 3억 won from overseas or domestic companies or individuals, right? And also at the time, if you hire and to the Korean national for over 6 months with a full-time employment, you have an excellent chance to apply for the F-524, the permanent residency. And the other in the public utility investor and the F5, F521, F521, the general investor and government designate a certain and the utility or the real estate, etc. If you invest 500 million won over one, and you may get F2 visa, right? And if you stay the 500 million won investment, and you may get uh, and the F521 visa the from the 5 years from F visa issuance date. F 523 visa, right? Retirement investment and public utility. Over if you invest over 300 million won, and you may get F2 at the visa, and if you maintain your F2 visa, right, and for 5 years, you may get F-523. So this is a retirement investment purpose. So your age at the time of invest that kinds of money, you shall be 55 years old. Oh, it is an international age, right? So F-522 is a spouse or a married child of F-521, F-523 is the rest of the things. It's similar, and F2 visa acquisition, and 5 years later then when you apply for F521 or F523, and your spouse or unmarried child can apply for the F522 visa actually. And F525 visa is a conditional investors. This is just saving a certain amount of money to their government and running and the bank, etc. So 1.5 billion won deposit right after 5 years, then you may get F525 visa. And the F526 visa is a research and development personnel for foreign invested companies, right? So in this case, right, and it doesn't matter about your degree and domestic or foreign and bachelor degree and holder, right, and dispatching from headquarters to their Korean branch office with a D8 visa, right, and you shall work at a R&D in the field at the branch office of Korea, and if you stay over 3 years, you can apply for the F526 visa, but no need KIIP when you apply for the permanent residency. The next two pages are most important things because the previous one and this one and this one and this one is related to the investment, right? But there is and I will introduce the exactly four and very important thing. It'll be more helpful. So there is a F59 visa, right? In no need. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not GNI, right? This is a KIIP. I'm sorry. I forgot to change it. So without and the KIIP, the PhD in advanced field. So F59 visa, when you apply for that, you have to got the overseas doctorate degree, right? And being hired at one of the Korean companies and in the working field of IT and technology management and nano biotechnology or chemistry. If you're working in the 1 year or more with a full-time, the full-time worker, not a regular worker, is a full-time worker. If you work there, you have a chance to apply F59. F59 is a very high skill of the person, so when you apply for the F59, right, this if every the requirements are met, uh, you can get an F59 visa within 3 months, based on my understanding. There is a specific ability. It's points based on permanent residency status, and it's every individual items and individual items and the optional items, right? Each items, if you meet that the requirement, you may get a certain the point. So if your point is one of the things, and you may apply for that F511 visa, right? The 30 in the individual and the items score is 30, and the total your score is 50, or your individual items score is 20, and totally the 100 point. Oh, it doesn't matter about you were staying in Korea or overseas. You can apply F511 from overseas, right? It doesn't matter about, right? Because it is not required for the working in Korea right now. So you can apply if you meet the requirement, and you can use the point chart. You can visit our YouTube channel and Visa in Korea, and you can check your points. And so it doesn't matter about staying in Korea or not, and you can apply for that. So okay, the last one is mostly the person, and using this way, and it doesn't matter about individual or the optional the scores, but if your total scores are and the 80 point or and if you're staying in Korea over 1 year, you can use that one, and uh, you got 80 points, you are eligible for applying for the F511 permanent residence visa. The last two, one is the doctor and general field. So, if I Il- uh, I'm sorry for that. F515, F515, mistyped. Okay, F515 visa. So if you got your doctorate degree in one of the Korean university, it doesn't matter about your major. So if you working at the company and a 1 year as a full time, but actually is a kind of a 정규직. I'm sorry about that. But certainly it's very difficult to the translate 정규직 into other things. But it shall be 정규직 is a regular worker, or regular worker, a regular worker, and regular worker, and working 1 year with what that at the company, right? You can apply for the F515, not F511. Okay, F515. I'm sorry about that. F515. And the F512 20 is the children born in Korea of F5 visa holder. So one of the father and his the father or mother the must stay in Korea with F5 at the time of birth, and your child birth in Korea. So when the child is born and register and apply for the passport the first at the embassy in Korea and apply some certain F520 and a visa directly for that. I'm really sorry about that. This oh, not GNI, it's a KIIP, right? Okay, I tried to fix that out. But anyway, okay, F515, F5 20, F511, and F519 9, and the rest of the things are is based on the investment. So the KIIP is mostly required for the most of all and the F5 visas, but F but you know F59, F511, and F515 and F512 20. There is one of the things is easily you may apply for the permanent residency with without KIIP in completion. So one of the things, right? So KIIP and then GNI. So F59, the KIIP is not required. The GNI required F511. KIIP is not required and GNI not required. And the F515, right? KIP not required. The GNI one-time income is required 20, and children was born in Korea while you are holding F5 visa in Korea. So no need, right? So the GNI one time. So this is a basic requirement for except for the investment. Please kindly press your subscribe to the YouTube channel. Your subscription will give more motivation and the strength to me. So I am really love you to make this kind of the excellent and the lectures and provide it with you. So don't forget every Friday night and 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. we have the Korean immigration and the Visa YouTube channel live and the lecture. So the Q&A. So don't forget every Friday and 10 p.m. So okay, this was Mr. Jang, Visa in Korea. Please press subscription and button to me And see you next time with a more valuable information on Korean immigration and visa issues with a visa in Korea. Bye bye. Have a great weekend.